That was a good rave until he blew everything up. Hi, it's me and welcome back to another video. Today we are back with our regularly scheduled Let's Shit on the Right Wing show. I actually seriously need to make my own title card for that because it's going to get annoying just recreating the 3D thing every single time. Anyway, today we're taking out this lovely fella called Dr. Disaster. And this is possibly the most random channel that I've come across. Like, you've seen kind of the stereotypical, everything woke is bad kind of people that we've covered in the past. But this guy, I don't know, it just kind of feels a bit different. Now, obviously, Doctor Who Series 1, it's just released. The Devil's Cord and Space Babies. Mwah. Space Babies, a little bit mid, in my opinion, and The Devil's Cord was back to bar. That was beautiful. I have my own What Went Right being worked on now, but I'm going to be doing them for each half season. So, yeah, I know all of that will be released after the season concludes, so that's to look forward to. For now, I think we should get right into Dr. Disaster.
What's up, Space Pirates? This is your captain, the Dread Pirate Dr. Disaster, and we are going to look at some of the new clips from the new Doctor Who so that we can properly mock it, because, trust me, it deserves it. Even though the critics are in love with this train wreck, I can tell you that the new Doctor is cringy and not worth watching at all.
Personally, I think you're wrong. Like, yeah, obviously, that's your opinion, it's not worth watching. But I honestly believe those stories, if you ignore the Space Babies, because that was just embarrassing, it's actually quite decent, and obviously these scores kind of show that. But I suppose time will tell. These scores were first reviews after the original showings on Disney Plus and iPlayer, so guess time will tell.
Yeah, just like in Raiders of the Lost Ark, I suggest you avoid watching New Who, or it might melt your face off. But that is what we're going to do here. I am going to give you a taste of what is about the cringiest shit imaginable. So, keep watching if you dare.
Daddy was so tough, daddy me, and that was fun enough. That shit is gross! Don't look right, keep your eyes shut!
Obviously, I used this dancing thing in the intro, and by the way, the intro version is actually sped up. His intro is used in every single video that I looked over briefly. It's 30 seconds long. That's not an intro, that's a title sequence. Obviously, we're delving into his opinion in this episode, which is kind of fair enough. I'm not one to judge other people's opinions. I am one to judge their bullshit about their right-wing views. So, I think this is going to be absolutely beautiful, and actually it might end up being a short one. So, I suppose let's get into it.
Alright, me hearties, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and also, don't forget to follow me over on Twitter, where my handle is. But we are going to take a look at a few of the clips from the new episodes of Doctor Who. We're going to focus on this character primarily, called Maestro.
Surprise, surprise, an anti-woke right-winger has a problem with a character played by a drag queen. Surprise, 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 surprise.
played by Jinx Monsoon, because it is about as cringy as it gets.
Where are you taking this thing?
Yeah, that's what I wondered when I first saw this character. Where are they going to be taking this absolutely stupid design? Well, this is just a taste of what Maestro was like, and I apologize for some of the video quality on this. It was difficult finding clips with any quality to use, but here we go.
That was you in 63, wasn't it? Sweet cheeks.
That's just awful! How terrible! Oh no!
Who trapped my father and bound him in salt. Yes?
Child of the toy maker.
At this point, it's more like Dr. Why Bother?
I should thank you, Doctor. Daddy was so bad to me.
That was so terrible, I think you gave me cancer.
Okay, so we get it. You don't like the campiness of the villain, the very intentional campiness of the villain. I personally loved Monsoon's performance of the villain. I really think that it was exactly what Russell T Davies intended in the writing. It's exactly how Maestro should have been acted and performed. Like, if you had someone who was more serious in the role, they wouldn't have fit. This character wasn't supposed to be serious. This character was supposed to be goofy and entertaining and campy and cringy. That's how this character was supposed to be, and Monsoon does it beautifully. Like, honestly, watching the episode, I was rooting for the villain. I don't do that often, but I was with Maestro, and that just shows a really strong character. There was one part that I didn't like, and it's their final line, but that's a What Went Right story. Link to What Went Right up in the iCard now. But yeah, that's a whole other thing. So if you do fancy checking that out, click below, subscribe. I'm here all day. Well, I'm here every Sunday or Fridays if you're on Patreon. And yeah, so. But that's my take on Maestro as a villain. I honestly want to know what you thought of Maestro. Kind of.
That's just tragic, isn't it? The whole episode was painfully difficult to watch and take seriously. We have been talking about what this Disney-fied version of Doctor Who, what it will look like, and now we know. It is childlike and overtly queer to the point that most people are just going to cringe and walk away. Jinx Monsoon tweeted a link to this article from Slate, where it says at the bottom of the photo that Doctor Who's newest villain might drive some viewers away. Good riddance. And yeah, I gotta say, that is the understatement of the century. It might drive just a few people away. This is so over the top and wildly cringe that I cannot handle it.
So if you can't take how a villain is written and intended to be portrayed, then fair enough, I suppose. But doesn't mean you have to complain about. Well, actually, does it mean? No, yeah, I get the point. You can complain about it. You might as well complain about it. I mean, you could scream into the dark if you wanted, but I don't know. Serious note though, this character was meant to be written in the way that they're portrayed. Like, you can just tell that Jinx Monsoon was made for the role. The role was actually written with Jinx Monsoon in mind as the actor to portray them. But don't you see that was intended? All of this that you're complaining about was intended. And if you don't like that, then this just isn't the story for you then, is it? On the whole Disney-ified thing of Doctor Who, I'm only going to count that in towards of the musical number at the end, because yeah, there's always a twist at the end, but I personally didn't like it, and like I said, that's going to go into the what went right of the story. So yeah, keep your eye out for that.
But wait, there's more.
Henry, get away from him.
Them.
What?
Me.
What?
I'm them.
Stop lecturing me, please.
Guys, I've been the first to realise that a lecture is 4 seconds long. Lecturers are doing it wrong. They've been doing it wrong this whole time.
Oh joy, oh rapture, more gender shit. I just love it when they inject this garbage into my entertainment. But let's watch more and see how the Doctor battled with Maestro here.
This is the famous Abbey Road piano.
Well, I'll give this Maestro character this at least. The eye roll is very spot on, because this isn't Doctor Who any longer. It's more like Doctor...
What the hell is even that?
Music battle.
You must be joking.
What the hell is that?
That is a battle that makes absolute perfect sense, considering that Maestro is the essence of music itself. Then, hello. Of course, logically, Maestro's going to suggest a music battle. Now, I might be a little biased because I was the type of person that loved the fight against Sinister Strange and Multiverse of Madness that used music notes. I thought that was beautiful and unique and amazing. The visuals in there were just as good. But I'm the type of person that liked that and enjoyed that, whereas obviously I know a lot of people didn't and thought that was cringy and stupid and pointless and didn't fit with the characters at all. When you realise that Strange was into classical music, then it does actually make a lot of sense. But sidebar off, I enjoyed this because it was unique, it was clever, it was good, and it's exactly how Maestro would have suggested a final battle, just like the Toy Maker, the final battle against him would have been a game, because he was the essence of play. So, you know, this makes perfect sense.
That might be the lamest thing I have ever seen. I remember a time when Doctor Who had these horror elements to it that made you almost crawl out of your skin when watching it, and you desperately rooted for the Doctor to find a solution to the problem because the villain was so horrifying. But this is cartoonishly stupid, and it is precisely what I expected from a Disney version of Doctor Who. How pathetic.
That's because this wasn't a horror episode. If this was a horror episode, then yeah, I'd agree with you, there should have been more horror elements. But it wasn't a horror episode. This was a fun, cringy, amazing, hilarious joyride, and this isn't supposed to be horrific or scary. Oh god, people like him. Right, mate, if you want a horror episode, you've got 73 Yards coming up, the one that's been teased as the horror episode. And next week we've got Boom. Well, for you, I suppose, you've just watched Boom, which is written by Stephen Moffat, who is known for his slightly horror villains and episodes. Stephen Moffat is beautiful at sci-fi horror. So I can't wait to see what he does with Boom. Obviously, you lot have already watched Boom, because, well, I assume you have anyway, because this goes up on the Sunday, 2 days after the episode's released. Unless you watch it on Patreon, mine is just going on just before it's released, but that's not the point. But if you want a horror episode, wait a week. You got 73 Yards coming up next, so you might as well complain about it not being too horrific. When that releases, honestly, I knew the Right Wing were going to have a field trip with this episode. I was expecting it with this episode above Space Babies. I was waiting patiently by my computer 6 hours after 6 hours after the episode released. I refreshed it and boom, there was already 3 videos complaining about this. it's like you were on point, and I was just like, I didn't have any trouble finding new people because they all came out of the woodwork. But I think it's time to go for someone big. Yeah, well, that's about it for this video. There was like one extra clip where we talked about there's always a twist at the end, yeah, but I've already kind of mentioned that, so I don't think there's any point me getting right back into it. So, finally though, I do want to very quickly just do something similar to what I did at the beginning, because this is not an outro for them. This is an end credit scene.
Thanks for watching, me hearties. If you haven't already, your captain is inviting you to subscribe to the channel and become a part of the crew. Life as a space pirate may not be glamorous, but there's always plenty of booty.
Yeah, that was 20 seconds. So, as a result, their intro and outro take up almost a minute of the video, which, personally, I think that's far too long. So, 10 seconds each at max. Like, my intro's 10 seconds, outro's 8 seconds. That's 18 seconds of the video, which honestly isn't too long at all compared to the fact that my videos tend to be up to 10 to 30 minutes. Those 30 minutes need to come down quite a bit. I'm not having half an hour long videos anymore. Anyway, like I said, next week I'm aiming to do something, go for someone a little bit bigger, and I've been putting it off for a little bit, but I think it's finally time. Obviously, if you watched last week's video, you will know that right now I am away, so obviously the next 2 videos will also be recorded and edited and uploaded before Boom and 73 Yards have released, and an extension Dot and Bubble as well. So while obviously those are coming up, I'll be working on everything for the What Went Right first half of the season. So yeah, but thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Ciao.